All right, we're going to talk about skin color. As you know, there are many variations in skin color in the human population. A lot of bias exists about this. So one thing I love teaching is the biology underneath this really cool diversity. And what I start with is how much diversity really exists. So this is a really cool artist who tries to find individuals with different skin tones and match their skin tone to a background color. So you can see here just the amazing diversity. Right, we're not white and black. We are a huge variety of skin color, and the biology behind it is really cool. We will focus primarily on melanin, but there are other components that determine skin color. We'll get into a little bit as well. Okay, so to remind you of the layers of the skin, because we're going to dive into them. Let's look at the epidermis. So remember, the epidermis is that top layer of the skin made of stratified squamous epithelium. All of this tissue is stratified squamous epithelium. And then the bottom layer of that is the stratum basale. It's this very bottom layer, single layer of cells just above the dermis. This is where mitosis is going on to allow cells, the skin to grow and regenerate. Um, this is also the layer where there's going to be melanocytes. This is a melanocyte here, and melanin. Most of what you see here is melanin. Melanin is the pigment. Um, yeah. So let's see this in what this kind of looks like here. In an individual with darker skin, there is a lot of melanin. The number of melanocytes actually doesn't differ between these two individuals, but it's the melanin amount and type differs. So it's what the melanocytes do. This term melanized is something you'll see. So melanized cells, melanized keratinocytes. Keratinocytes are those cells. This is primarily what you're seeing along this individual skin is melanized keratinocytes. This means cells that are covered with melanin, protected from the sun by melanin. And in this individual over here, although there still be melanocytes, you don't see many melanized cells. So individuals with light skin are more susceptible to sun damage. Let's zoom into what's going on, like within this region. So if we zoom into a layer into this stratum basale, this is where we're zoomed in. Here is a melanocyte. All humans are actually different shades of brown, with this exception of albino people, albinism. So we're all tinted with melanin, but there's many different shades. So melanin can be reddish brown or brownish black or just brown. There's many different types. And that's one thing that determines or influences different skin color. This is exocytosis. So exocytosis of melanosomes is occurring. Melanosomes are vessels full of melanin. So individual can vary in how much melanin and melanosomes are produced, and therefore how much protection there is from the sun, as well as how dark the skin would look because that melanin has a dark color. You can see these melanosomes kind of traveling up, all these little guys too, and they are protecting the keratinocytes around here. One other pigment that's shown here is keratin, is kind of a yellowish pigment found in carrots. That's another pigment that's present in our um, skin that influences cell color. If you want to know, this is a cool video, kind of showing this idea of types of melanin, amount of melanin, number of melanosomes being the primary influencers of skin color. This is a really nice video you can watch on your own. Otherwise, I'm going to actually zoom in now into kind of a different view of a keratinocyte. So this is a keratinocyte that might be next door or nearby. A melanocyte is somewhere around here. This was releasing vesicles. And now those vesicles are providing a little sun hat for this nearby keratinocyte. This is a melanized keratinocyte. A melanized keratinocyte, singular in this case, because there's one nucleus, is protected from the sun. It's wearing a sun hat. This is helpful for UV protection, right? The sun has UV rays, and this UV ray can damage DNA. So that's what's happening here in this image. Often that's not a problem. Our cells regenerate. Our skin cells do a lot, but this can cause skin cancer, right? So different types of skin cancer that melanin is protective against. Okay, so there's differences between different individuals in skin color based on, right, the type of melanin, amount of melanin, and the number of melanosomes that those melanocytes produce. But also the amount of melanin can vary based on UV exposure. And you know this because you've been outside in the summer. UV light can increase melanin production. You don't need to know the details here, but it's pretty cool. Briefly, UV light is stimulating this, right? It's a stimulus. And that's going to increase actually a hormone called melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. This hormone is going to trigger increase in the production of melanin by these melanocytes. Makes a lot of sense, right? So more melanin is produced, we have further protection. This happens to us regardless of our skin color. We have an increase in kind of darkness over the summer, or if we're in the sun. And again, what color you get is going to depend on how much sun exposure, but also the type of melanin that you produce in your body. Um, Okay, note that also a tan does indicate UV exposure, which can indicate DNA damage. So although it's protective, it also indicates that your sun has already been exposed to UV light, and there possibly is, it doesn't indicate cancer, but it can indicate possible UV damage. Again, oftentimes your body has ways of addressing that you'll be okay. So kind of summary here, the main component that contributes to kind of this dark skin versus light skin is not the number of melanocytes. Here in this image, there's one melanocyte in either case, but the amount of melanin, here this is a melanocyte, and I'm sorry, that is a melanosome, and the melanin, both type and amount, with less being in this individual as well as fewer of the substance. Okay, the other factor that can influence skin color, though I already mentioned keratin. Keratin is kind of a yellow-orange pigment found in carrots. This shows up a little bit more in individuals who have light skin already, but it can influence skin color in anyone. Blood vessels, right? So blood flow, again, it's maybe more obvious in light-skinned individuals, becomes even more prominent with exercise or allergies or blushing. The opposite, people with anemia or low blood pressure, but influences skin color regardless of what that existing color was already. Um, So that's some of the other factors.